Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Ragsdale, it's frustrating to hear your responses about the Casey Chadwick murder. I mean, John Jocks came here illegally from Haiti in the 90s, was convicted of attempted murder, served 17 years in prison, obviously had no right to be here, was released after serving a sentence, and was not deported. And within a few months after being turned loose on the public, he murdered Casey Chadwick and stuffed her body in a closet. This is not something that should be acceptable. Now, you said maybe nothing could have been done, the IG said. I don't accept that. I mean, you're saying you can't even get a travel document in 5 months?
So I don't think that's exactly what I said. What I said, the IG found that we certainly could have done different things, but the outcome may not have changed. We went to the Haitian government with a request for a travel document for Jean-Jacques. They said he could not prove he was of Haitian nationality, and they refused to issue. It's very important.
Is that true? Could you prove it?
We believe he is Haitian. But I will also tell you that it certainly could be the situation, I'm not saying it is in this case, but someone of Haitian descent born in the Dominican Republic would present every much as...
Did you try with the Dominican Republic?
Well, as you know, there's been some challenges between the Dominican Republic and Haiti in terms of nationality concerns. So we did not try to move him to the Dominican Republic. My point is simply this. We made efforts, and there's no question we will look at the IG's report and take every best practice and every
but you didn't go to the State Department and say Haiti is not being cooperative here, and you didn't seek them to notify them under Section 243 Delta, correct?
Okay. ICE does not have authority to issue sanctions under 243 Delta.
No, I know that. What happens is when the Department of Homeland Security notifies the State Department, when the statute was written, it was Attorney General. Now, since we've had changes in agencies, it's now the Department. Once that notification is made, then that triggers their duties. And my point is you guys did not issue a notification that Haiti was being unreasonable in this case.
That's right. And what I will suggest to you...
And had you done that, maybe there would have been a different outcome.
Perhaps. That is absolutely true. What I will say is we did work with the State Department at Post in Santo Domingo.
I know, but that clearly, I mean, I appreciate that, but that's going kind of the mid-level, the bureaucracy. If the government itself is not going to be cooperative, we have certain tools that can be used. And this is one of the tools that if it was used, we may have had a different outcome. And I think that it's not unreasonable to say that if someone comes to the country illegally and then gets convicted of attempted murder, that it should be a very high priority of the government to get that person out of our country because of the high likelihood that they're probably going to reoffend when they go back in. And I'm also frustrated because Casey's mother, Wendy Hartling, she said very recently that she's not received any answers from ICE, that your agency has not been very helpful with helping her get her head around what happened. Why is that?
I am not familiar with us not providing her information as much as we can under the law. I will certainly take that back and find out if we have a pending inquiry from her. But
let me ask you this. How many times in the last 7 years has DHS actually done a notification for State under Section 243 Delta? Have there been any?
I do not believe we've done it at all.
Okay.
But I would note, though, again, that we signed the MOU 5 years ago. You've seen the correspondence from Secretary Johnson to Secretary Kerry and a response. The Secretary in front of Senate Judiciary last week, noted that this is on his radar. So it is not from our lack of interest in raising recalcitrant countries as appropriate.
Right, but we have tools and we want to use. And what we have is we get these reports. You guys give us the reports, the number of people here are illegally, and you actually enumerate the crimes that they committed. And so these are people that have been in ICE custody, and yet they end up committing crimes. And it varies from murder. It varies from things like theft and robbery, DUI. I would say all those are menaces to the public and obviously varying degrees. And so that is there. Let me ask you this, Ambassador Bond. You said in your testimony that state has and will implement visa restrictions when necessary, but you wanted to make sure that was the right approach depending on the circumstances. But doesn't the statute mandate that if you do receive that notification from the Department of Homeland Security that you are required to suspend visa issuances?
Yes, it does.
Okay. And you guys, and I think just to make sure it's consistent with what Mr. Ragsdale says, has the State Department received any notification from DHS over the last 7 years under that section?
We have not received the formal message from the Secretary of Homeland Security directing that this be triggered.
Okay. So here's the thing. We have tools that Congress has legislated. I think you guys need to use them, and obviously it goes to the Department of Homeland Security first because that really triggers your responsibility at State. But those are what Congress did. I think it would be tremendously effective if you did it. I think the countries would fall very much more likely to fall in line. You'd be using leverage, and I think we could engineer better outcomes for the American people. But clearly, law enforcement, I wish we could prevent every single crime that happens here. The fact of the matter is people are going to commit crimes. You've got to hold them accountable. But when people are here illegally and they've actually been convicted of crimes and then they're released rather than be deported, well, that's on the government, and that's something that could be prevented. And I think people like Casey Chadwick, these tragic stories, need to come to an end. And I yield back.